Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing another story time, so settle in. But before we get into the video, please leave a like. It really helps me and I appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's get into this. So y'all actually voted on this video. Okay, as of right now, it is currently Wednesday, March 27th, 9:19 Eastern time, and story time of the ex-best friend is winning by like 20%. So we're gonna do that one. Two things before we start, actually. So I'm sure some of you have noticed that I've been a little bit slower with putting out videos. I'm not planning on slowing down or stopping YouTube anytime soon. I am just in a very busy time in my life right now. I am about to graduate college. I'm also about to pick up and move again, so I got a lot going on. Please believe me, I'm trying to get these videos out to y'all like as soon as I can, but they might be a little delayed, so that's the reasoning behind that. The second thing is this story has a lot of drama in it, okay? And I want to clarify that I am not bad-mouthing the people who are in this story. I am not trying to bring up like drama from 7 years ago or whatever. I am simply retelling a story that I have experienced in my life, and there is nothing wrong with that, okay? So yes, this story is about my ex-best friend. I'm gonna call her Rapunzel. I'm gonna change the names of people in the story, of course, for privacy reasons and stuff. If you went to school with me, or you are like, you know, still my friend to this day, and you know exactly who I'm talking about, don't be saying their real names. If you decide to comment, use the names that I'm using in this video, okay? So let's get started, shall we? So I met Rapunzel in middle school. She was in the grade below me. I was in 8th grade. She was in 7th grade. And Rapunzel was really shy, naive, very innocent, just, you know, she was that type of girl. We actually became friends in a weird way, I guess. I kind of stuck up for her when people were picking on her, and that kind of solidified our friendship from that day forward. I mean, right after that, we were like this. We were inseparable. I looked at her as not only my best friend, but my little sister, because I adored her in that manner, and I wanted to protect her from all of the bad things that were in the world or in that middle school. I was sort of like, you know, the big sister, the mentor to her, because I guess of me being older or whatever, but we were so close. We were very close. I just want to establish that before I get into like the meat of the story. That's how we met, and we were like this. That was my baby. Okay, so I dated this guy named Fred in a little bit in 8th grade, and then I dated him again my freshman year of high school. Now let me give you some context about Fred. Think of the most clingy, most manipulative, most like just awful person in general, and multiply that times 10. Now, I dated Fred when we were children. I don't know what he's like now. That's how he was back in these times, okay? Okay, so Fred and I dated for about 2 months our freshman year of high school, and I dumped him on the last day of school because it was getting to be too much for me, okay? He was super clingy, super insecure, very toxic, and he was just obsessed with sex. And you're probably thinking, okay, Tahlia, boys in that grade, in that age range, they're going through puberty. Yes, they're going to be thinking about sex, but this was on a whole nother level, and I was like, I can't. So I dumped him in the last day of school. I had enough. And he was the type of guy that was like, you know, if you break up with me, I'm gonna unalive myself. He was that type of guy. So after that rocky breakup, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm trying to go on with, you know, my summer. And then I get a text from Rapunzel saying that her and Fred are now talking. You can imagine my surprise when she tells me this, because I'm just like, not the Fred that I just broke up with. This has to be a different Fred. She's like, no, it's him. So automatically I'm pissed off Not for one reason, but for two reasons. It's just like, you, as one of my best friends at the time, you knew everything about my relationship with Fred, including the bad parts, and you knew how much it hurt me and stressed me out. And now that I've broken up with him, mind you, we weren't even broken up for a week, maybe 5 days at that, but we weren't even broken up for a week yet. And now they're talking. The second reason why I was upset is because you broke girl code. I know that girl code, I don't know what it's called nowadays for our older group, but I'm still using the term girl code. If you don't know what girl code is, basically it's like, don't date someone that your friend has dated, especially if you're best friends, and especially if the guy that they dated did them dirty. It's just a common decency thing. Like, don't dip into their sloppy seconds is what girl code is, okay? It's a respect thing, it's a friendship thing. And she broke girl code, so I was pissed. And she's like, I'm just testing the waters to see how it goes. Like, I don't know where this is gonna lead. I just wanna see what happens. I'm if more than like angry, I am so devastated. I'm like, I cannot see you doing this to me. Like, I can't believe you are telling me this. And she expected me to be okay with it. That's what made me mad. She expected me to be okay with it because you just broke up with him. Like, you know, she was expecting me to be okay with it just because we were done. I'm like, no, I had feelings for this guy. It wasn't love because, you know, we were freaking kids, but I liked him up until the point where I didn't. But I'm just like, you know what I went through dating him, and you think this is okay. So I was like, you know what, since you want to do that, we're done. Block me, lose my number, lose my Snap, lose my Instagram, all of that. I'm done talking to you. You have really upset me. I probably was a little bit harsher than that, because me back in those days, I was ruthless. So after that whole exchange, I reach out to Fred. I'm like, what is going on? Why is Rapunzel telling me that you are macking on her? What's going on? We just broke up like 5 days ago. What is this? She better be lying, and you better tell me the truth. And this dude just comes out, I love her. She's the love of my life. No, she's not. And I get it. Now, telling the story now as an adult and him being him, it's just like, of course you think you're in love with whoever you have a crush on, like, you know, you're a freshman in high school, okay. But the thing about Fred is, whoever he had a crush on, like dead ass, he swore up and down that that was the love of his life. And he dated quite a few girls back in his day, including me. I was once the love of his life. And then the minute that we broke up, the next girl who showed him some attention, that's the love of my life. I am so in love with her. No, you're not. Simply not. Simply not. And that doesn't just go for him. Whoever else felt that way, no, babe, that's not the love of your life. You just fell for the next girl who gave you some attention. But anyway, yeah, he was telling me how much he loved her. I'm like, we literally broke up just like 5 days ago. How did these feelings happen so quickly? And then I was mad because I was fearing for Rapunzel. Like I said in the beginning, she was very innocent and naive, whereas Fred was the complete opposite of that. I was afraid that Fred was going to ruin her. And I know this sounds weird now, but it was the truth. I was like, she does not deserve to be tainted or poisoned by you. Now me, I could take the brunt of whatever Fred threw my way, because emotionally and mentally I was stronger than Rapunzel. Rapunzel was like a little baby bunny rabbit, okay? She could not deal. I knew she could not deal, so I was upset about that. I was like, you are not the guy for her. You don't deserve her. She's too good for you. So I was mad at that aspect as well. And he was like, well, we're dating now, get over it. I'm like, okay, you know what? You, don't text my phone no more, lose my number. Same thing I said to Rapunzel. So a few days go by, right? And out of the blue, I get a text from Fred. You know what the text says? I'm done with her. You can have her back now. He is referring to Rapunzel as if she is like a pair of shoes that he borrowed from me or something. And I'm like, what? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm texting him, he not texting me back. So not long after that, Rapunzel comes back into the mix, and she called me. She was like crying and saying, oh T, you were right. I should have listened to you. I don't know why I would do that. He is not what he seems, da 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 da. And I'm over here like, yeah, I I tried to tell you. Now, nowadays, I'm not the one to say I told you so. But back then, I was like, girl, what did I say? What did I say? And here is how I made a mistake. I forgave her. The thing about me, I have a very big heart, okay? And I forgive people more than I should. I give people grace more than I should, even so to this day. Something I'm working on, but back then, young Tahlia, 14-year-old, 15-year-old Tahlia, oh yeah, biggest heart on the face of the earth. Like, easily forgiven. And I forgave her because I was not ready to lose her as a friend, so that's why I did it. So we're back cool, and now my sophomore year rolls around. Now this time, Fred is dating one of my other friends. Let's call her Angel. Now, here is the difference between Rapunzel dating Fred and Angel dating Fred. Angel had Fred first. Now that I think about it, Fred dated like 4 of my friends. He dated 4 of my friends. But Angel had him first back in the 7th grade. And I asked Angel if it was okay if I dated him in the 8th grade. She said it was fine. She didn't care about all that. She did not care. And she was actually very supportive of our relationship when I was with Fred. So Fred and Angel found their way back together. They were dating for a while. And here comes Rapunzel weaseling her way back into the picture. So she did the same thing to me that she did to Angel, but the difference is this time Angel and Fred were still together. Fred was talking to Rapunzel the same time while he was still dating Angel. So I get mad, and here, I know this had nothing to do with me. It wasn't even involving me, but Angel at the time was one of my best friends too, okay? And I know how that felt. And I'm just like, how could you do this again, but to one of my other best friends who did not deserve it, by the way? I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Like, why do you keep doing this? And like, what is it in him that you are seeing? I asked Angel the same question, honestly, too, because she got back together with him. But I'm just like, why? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? What's your problem? You know? So we fall out again. I'm like, how could you be so okay with this? And then Fred and Rapunzel start dating for a while, okay? So my junior year rolls around, high school, and I think Rapunzel and Fred are broken up at this time. They broke up, okay? Y'all gonna hear them breaking up a lot, because they very much did, okay? They were getting back together. They were like a strobe light, on and off 8,000 times, okay? Let me get back to the story. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I know how we got back in good graces with each other. So we had a homecoming dance, and I left my shoes behind, and someone told me that Rapunzel's mom was on the cleaning committee. So I reached out to Rapunzel. I was like, hey, did your mom find my shoes? Because I lost them, I misplaced them. And that just ended up as us like talking, regaining our connection, and we got back friends. So she comes to me one day, she's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you something and you cannot be mad. I'm like, all right. She goes, Fred and I are back together, and I'm just like, Now, junior year Tahlia, she tried. She did. She tried to be supportive even though she knew the type of person that Fred was. She knew what he had put all those girls through, including Rapunzel, okay? Because Rapunzel, I'm gonna be honest, like I said, Fred dated a lot of girls, but Rapunzel got the worst of it because she was with him the longest. I was like, okay. I said, just to let you know, I don't like that man. But if he makes you happy, I'm here. I'm just letting you know, I don't like that man. She goes, I understand. So I even put what she did to me behind me. I forgave her. And I'm like, you know what? She's gonna do what she wanna do. Who am I to be stepping in? Even though I know for a fact that this is not what she's supposed to be doing, I can't tell her what to do. I'm not her mom. Fred's behavior and demeanor only gets worse as he's getting older at this point. He's more aggressive. He's more insecure. He's even more clingy and even more toxic, okay? And they was just having like a bunch of drama, you know? He was very controlling of Rapunzel. And I think that's why I broke up with him, and why Angel broke up with him, and why all the other girls broke up with him, because he tried to control them, and they were like, oh no, not me, not I will not. I think truly the only girl that he was able to control was Rapunzel, Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how she is now, but back then she was a mega pushover. I'm not saying that to be mean, it was the truth, okay? She was a people pleaser and a pushover. That was the only girl that he really had on a leash, to be honest with you. Out of all the girls that he dated in high school and middle school, Rapunzel was the one that fell down flat. So there's a rumor going around the school that Rapunzel cheated on Fred with a guy from the next town over. We went to school in a very small town, and there was like a little town that was like right next to us. So news travel fast. And Fred gets hold of this news. So let me tell you what happened. So we're all hanging out in the hallway. It's passing period. We're getting ready to go to study hall, right? Rapunzel and Fred come out of a room. Rapunzel's trying to talk to Fred. He ain't trying to hear it. He's pissed. And so she goes to put his hand on his shoulder, and he like whacks her hand off of him. He's like, don't fucking touch me, in front of everybody. And I'm just like, so I addressed the situation, not then and there, but like after, you know, over the phone with Rapunzel. I'm like, okay, so what was that all about? Like, what happened today in the hallway? She was like, oh, he just got a little upset. I was like, why do you let him treat you like this? I told her, this is where I was starting to fall back into my old ways. I was like, you deserve so much better. Like, don't you see that he's trying to manipulate you and control you? And that this is an ownership. This is not love. This is not a relationship. This is an ownership. And that's what you have going on. She's like, you need to let me handle this on my own. I need to experience love however I am meant to experience it. Okay, like, just let me deal with this. I'm like, but are you happy? Do you love him? She's like, I do. I'm like, oh God. And I'm getting frustrated again because I only want the best for my best friend. And I think I was the only friend that she had at the time that told her straight up like it was. I'm still that person to this day, but she's not that type of person. She'd rather you sugarcoat and coddle. I never did that with any of my friends, especially not her, because she needed to hear what was the truth. She didn't always like that. That made her upset. So I don't know if she meant to do this, but one day she sent this iCloud file of like 72 screenshots of their text messages. Some of them were like normal conversations, some of them was like relationship stuff. Most of them were arguments, and some of it was sexual stuff. Now to this day, I don't know if that was on purpose or by accident, but it was 72 screenshots. I no longer have them, of course. No, not especially not all these years later. I don't have the screenshots no more. But I did not respond to that. I just kind of said, okay. And I was like, all right. But I ended up deleting them like shortly after. This time around, this was a little foggy. I don't really remember how we got into an argument again. That ended our friendship for like the third time. I guess I told her about herself for the third time, and we ended up falling out. My junior year comes to an end. It's now, you know, summer, and I'm about to go to this birthday party for a friend. And I forget that me and Rapunzel have this mutual friend. We're both friends with this girl. So I stop and ask the friend, I'm like, hey, is Rapunzel coming to your party? She's like, oh, I forgot, y'all aren't talking no more. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, don't do nothing. I'm like, she's your friend too. I'm not going to tell you not to invite her because we got something going on. It's not about us. It's about you. It's your day. I said, I will still come because I know you want me there. I will be cordial. I will play nice. I will keep the drama at the door for you because I know how important it is that you want all of your friends there together, okay? So we get to the shindig. You know, it's, what, 6 of us at the party? And so I'm just trying to make small talk with everybody. So I get to Rapunzel. I'm like, oh, you look really pretty. She looks me dead in my face and like just looks back down. And I'm like, that was rude. And she would not make eye contact with me when I asked her like a simple question, trying to make small talk, trying to be nice and all that stuff. Because meanwhile, like, yeah, yes, we fell out a few months before, but I'm trying to keep the vibe up because it's someone's birthday. Someone's birthday who knows our history. Like, it's her birthday. I'm trying to keep the vibes good, and she's over here ignoring me. And so I talked to her later that night. I'm like, yo, I thought it was rude as hell how you did not look me in the eye and you ignored me the whole time. I was trying to be nice to you. I was trying to make small talk. And she goes, well, I didn't talk to you because I thought you hated me. Let me tell you something about myself, okay? I will never hate anyone, okay? That is a very strong emotion for me to have. Like, I need to be like real down, bad, depths, hurting, angry, whatever. But I don't have that in my heart towards anyone. I may strongly dislike you. I may dislike you 1000%, but I will never hate someone, especially not back then. Why did I have to be so angry for me to hate somebody? Yes, we had a falling out a few times, and she frustrated me, and she hurt me, and she just made me angry, but I didn't hate her. If anything, I was disappointed. I was like, don't assume that I hate you just because we had a falling out. I said, did you ask me if I hated you? Did you hear that come out of my mouth? Did you see me text that to you that I hated you? I said, I don't hate you. I'm upset with you. I was upset with you. I was disappointed in you. I'm like, but okay, fine. I said, now you know the truth. But I will never hate you. And I meant that. I don't hate anyone. I will never hate anyone, no matter how angry or upset that I get. I don't have that in my heart to feel that towards anybody. I left this out. They broke up. Fred and Rapunzel broke up the beginning of the second semester of my junior year. So they broke it up at this time, okay? But they end up getting back together again during the summer leading into my senior year. So senior year rolls around and your girl's on the homecoming court, okay? So there's this thing where like the nominees are walking up the field and a cheerleader will bring them a flower, okay? And I've seen this done since middle school. So I'm like, oh, that gets to be me. Nah, yay. So it's my turn. Me and my cousin, because we're paired up, we're walking down the field because they called our names or whatever. And so I'm waiting on the cheerleader to give me my rose. Here comes Rapunzel. She's a cheerleader, by the way. She's been a cheerleader this whole time. Here comes Rapunzel with the rose. I'm like, oh, great, this is gonna be awkward. So she approaches me, she gives me my rose, she leans in, she goes, you look so beautiful. I'm like, thank you. I didn't let it show on my face for too long because, you know, there was cameras everywhere, there were people everywhere. It was a homecoming game. Like, I was like trying to like save face because, like, you know, everyone's watching you. So after my friend is crowned, gorgeous, by the way, congratulations to her. So I'm coming up to her talking after the whole shindig or whatever, and she's like, yeah, I saw that Rapunzel gave you your rose. I'm like, yeah, it's weird. It's just like a coincidence that she was assigned to me. She goes, assigned? I automatically assumed that the cheerleaders were assigned to a nominee. But my friend who won homecoming queen, she goes, no, the cheerleaders get to pick who to give their rose to. She picked you. And I'm taken aback because I'm like, we're not friends at this point in time. Like, we had a falling out for the third time a few months ago, but she picked me. I'm like, that sent off alarms in my head. I'm like, okay, so what does this mean? Like, what are we? Like, where are we at right now in this point in time? So a day goes by, it's the homecoming dance, you know, I'm having a time with all my friends, and then Rapunzel and Fred show up. She's trying to have a good time. She's trying, you know, to fit in with the other couples. Fred ain't giving her that chance because he's just being pissy and a guy, you know, all that stuff. And so during like a slow dance with my date and boyfriend at the time, I catch her staring at me. I'm like, okay, maybe it was that thing where you were scanning the room and then you lock eyes with someone. I put it out of my mind, but then I kept seeing her staring at me dancing with my boyfriend. I'm just like, okay, I'm like, that's a little weird. So the night goes on, and then out of nowhere, you hear Fred go, we're leaving, get your stuff, we're leaving right now. So he's like grabbing her by the arm, and he's storming out of the freaking venue with Rapunzel. I'm like, someone needs to go check on him and make sure that nothing happens to Rapunzel. Even though that I was like not talking to her, I was like, someone needs to go follow them and see if Rapunzel is okay. I was having some very confused feelings. I was still upset with Rapunzel, but part of me still wanted to reach out to her, especially after she gave me my rose at homecoming. So I was like, what do I do with all these feelings? So at this point, I'm asking one of my good friends for advice and my boyfriend at the time for some advice. I'll pull up the message, okay? So I copy and pasted the message I was about to send to Rapunzel, and I showed it to my friend. So this is what it says. I titled it a goodbye. I was so dramatic for no reason. Oh my god. So this is what I said, or what I was going to say to Rapunzel. So you're probably never gonna get this. Ever since you handed me my rose on the field, all the memories that we had together came rushing back. I thought about how happy we used to be and how close we were. All of that is gone because of some boy. Initially. I didn't make an effort to send a message to you. You never responded. I don't know why I keep trying. It's apparent that you're still scared of me or you think I hate you. I don't hate you, by the way. We made eye contact a couple times at the dance. It was a little awkward. I know we tried clearing the air once and it didn't go as planned. I've moved on and you've moved on. I have no idea if there's anything left at all. So this is my final goodbye. I've been living without you, but now it's time to really leave you behind. You were a good part and a bad part of my past. You are no longer a thought in my mind. It was fun while it lasted. And I told my friend, I feel so stupid even thinking about her. I should have been moved on. And she was like, to Rapunzel, I was like, yes, I've never hated myself so much before. Because I was like, I'm supposed to not be thinking about this girl because of, you know, what she put me through and how we kept falling out. But here I am still holding a place for her in my heart. I'm like, what am I doing? So I had both of my boyfriend at the time and my friend telling me, girl, what's the worst that could happen? Just tell her, like, it's okay. If she doesn't respond and she doesn't want to say anything, that's on her. At least you were upfront about your feelings. So they encouraged me to talk to her. I sent the message and then we got back cool. So, you know, this is my senior year, so this is 2019 going into 2020. COVID happens, we're on lockdown, quarantine, we're still talking. I think Rapunzel and Fred broke up right before quarantine started or during quarantine. I can't remember. But they broke up for what I thought was the final time because they were getting back together and breaking up like, you know, nobody's business. So I want to say around like the summer-ish, like May, June-ish, Rapunzel is talking to a new guy named Carson. I didn't change his name. I'm already getting confused about with all the other names. His name is Carson, okay? And at the time, Rapunzel's 16, Carson is 19. So they're talking, they're doing a little talking stage, they're going on cute little dates or whatever have you. They hanging out. She like him, he like her, whatever. So Rapunzel told me that she asked him like, okay, so when are you gonna like make me your girlfriend? When are we gonna make it official? And he's hesitant because he's like, well, you're 16, I'm 19, and I'm kind of like afraid of what would happen if we were like to start dating for real, for real. He's like, can we just wait until you turn 17 until I get my own apartment, then we can talk about making this official? Rapunzel gets mad because she wants to be deemed the girlfriend. And I told her, I was like, you can't get mad at this man for not wanting to go to jail because he is a legal adult and you are a minor, okay? And she was like, I know he likes me, I like him too. I'm like, okay, and y'all can still like each other, just, you know, I would take his advice. So she ends up disagreeing with him. And she was like, you know what, maybe we should just stick to being friends. And he agrees, so they're not talking romantically anymore. Some time goes by, and then Carson finally decides to go back and give it another shot with Rapunzel. But in between that time when they weren't talking, guess what Rapunzel does? Rapunzel sneaks off to Denton with Fred to go help him buy a suit or something. But they went alone together after them breaking up on and off all these years and finally supposedly being done with him. She sneaks off to Denton with him to go buy him a suit or something, and they were spending time together or whatever. So her mom finds out because her Life 360 got turned off, and then this is where she goes, you know what, I forbid you from seeing Fred ever again. He's brought too much drama into this house, and now you're sneaking out behind my back, no more. And I'm like, mama, I'm like, Mrs. Rapunzel, why are you just now interfering with this relationship? This guy has been emotionally and verbally abusing your daughter for years on and off now, and you're just now saying that she's forbidden from seeing him. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, that's what happened. And so I don't know how Carson found out. I think Rapunzel's mom told Carson, but Carson found out about the whole sneaking to Denton with her ex thing, and he was pissed. He was like, you told me about how this guy treated you and how it was really hard for you to break free from this relationship, and then here you go sneaking around my back, behind my back with him, jetting off to Denton or whatever, and you didn't tell me. So he was pissed, and they were just getting back good with their little talking, you know, stage thing, dating thing again. So he's pissed. He breaks things off, and now Rapunzel's upset. I said, you know what, let's have a girls' weekend. Get your mind off of it. It'll be me, you, and the girl that we went to the birthday party for last year. I said, it'll be fun. Let's hang out. So we're hanging out, you know, doing our thing. And so we get an invite to this pool party where we know absolutely nobody. So we go, we're having a little chill time. And then I look over, I see Rapunzel dancing with this guy, which I'm like, okay, you know, do you, like, it's okay to dance with a stranger here once in a while, live your little rom-com fantasy, whatever. And so we get back home, and the next day she's like, you know, that guy, like, he was really cute. I think his name was Dalton or something. That was the guy's name. Yeah, Dalton or something. And I was like, okay, now, hold on. You just broke things off with Carson. She goes, oh, calm down. It's fine. I'm like, is it fine? She's like, yeah. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. Okay, so I go home the next day or whatever. And then she texts me and our friend. She's like, I'm going to go on a date with that guy that I met at the pool party. I'm like, what? What? So I get pissed again because I'm just like, okay. I'm like, you just broke things off with Carson, who you were talking to for a few months, and it was starting to get serious. Y'all just broke things off not too long ago, okay? And you're already jumping on a first date with this guy that you don't even know. What's that about? She goes, it's gonna be fine. Don't worry about me. I'm like, okay, fine. So she comes back after the date. She goes, yes, he took me to this like little secluded barn. We had like dinner. We slow danced. We almost kissed. The way that he was like touching me, holding on to me. I was like, all right, no, I can't stand by and listen to this. So I sat down and typed out a message. I told her about herself. I was like, listen, this is why you keep getting hurt. This is why I can't do it no more, because I'm watching you do it to yourself and it's exhausting. I know this isn't about me, but this is how I felt at the moment during that time. I was like, this is why you keep getting hurt, because you do not give yourself a chance to heal and or move on. You just got out of, let's see, a 4-year on and off abusive relationship with this guy who had you in a chokehold, okay? You finally break free of that. You find a good guy who says he's going to wait a little bit, but that's not good enough for you. And then you go behind his back and sneak off with your ex. And then he finds out and you get mad. So the solution to that is dating another guy that you barely know. And then she tells me, she's like, well, that's how you get to know people who you want to date. Like, you go on a date with him and see if it's worth, you know, continuing. I'm like, yeah, but you just broke things off with Carson. This all happened in the same week, y'all. Her breaking things off with Carson, us going to the pool party, her going on a date with Dalton. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't sit by and watch you do this anymore. I sat by and watched you do this since we were in freaking high school. I have sat by and watched you go through this for 4 years. And I'm just like, I cannot support this. I do not support this. I tried so hard to be supportive for you, of you. And I'm like, I don't agree with your shenanigans. I don't agree with the way that you're handling things. And I don't have to, but it's just like, it's really hard to be your friend, you know, and this is how you going out. I can't be associated with you like that. And I wasn't feeling it. So she got mad at me because I told her about herself, and she ended up ghosting me. Like the rest of that summer. I don't hear from her. And then so I go to college, you know, that August, you know, time goes on. It's December now. So my school has a playoff game and the round is taking place on my college campus. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go support my cousin because he's playing football. And I don't know how out of all those people, but Rapunzel finds me. She's like, oh my God, hi. Like, she didn't ghost me months prior, and that we didn't get into another argument months prior. I'm just like, hello, you know, this is awkward. Like, why are you acting like, you know, nothing happened? Because it very much did. And she tells me that she's going to be coming next semester to my school that I'm currently attending. I'm like, what the I'm like, what? Not only did you approach me like nothing happened and nothing was wrong, but now you come into the same school as me now too. Okay, so next year rolls around, she's here, and so she reaches out to me and like we're talking. I think I reached out to her. I don't remember who reached out to who. And she was like, I would really like it if we could, like, you know, be friends again. And I told her, I said, listen, the only way that is going to happen is if we address what happened in last July, when the whole Dalton thing happened. I said, because you just want to move past it. I'm not trying to, like, live in the past or dwell, but you can't expect to just put a band-aid of time over that to fix it and just come back like nothing happened. I don't roll like that. You know, we have a bumpy history, and that's how it ended the last time. You ghosted me because we got into an argument. I told you about yourself, and now you're trying to come back like nothing happened. I don't operate like that, and you know that. So until you're ready to sit down and address the issue like an adult, and we can talk about why we got into a fight and how we can move forward. If I decide I do want you to be my friend again, we're not talking. We're not gonna be friends unless you are ready to address what happened. Simple as that. And nothing came out of that. And you know, now I hear from her like sometimes, like maybe once in a blue moon, because at this point, after that point, I just simply let it go. I'm like, this is a whole new chapter of your life, Tahlia. You don't have to keep bringing these, you don't have to keep everything with you, especially friendships that don't do anything for you. And I was just like, you know what, I just, over time, it just kind of like, I let it go. I was like, I don't have the energy or the time. Like, I'm getting too old for this. I've been dealing with this since I was 15. I'm not about to keep dealing with it. You know what I mean? I guess I want to really talk about why I got so upset. I feel like I kind of spoke on it a little bit, but here's my thing. I cannot be friends with, I don't want to say dumb, that's a mean word. Here's what upset me. It wasn't just, first of all, it was not just me telling her these things, giving her advice to leave Fred, and telling her about all the bad choices she was making as to, like, you know, save her as a friend. It wasn't just me, it was all her other friends too. But for some reason, when it came from me, it was a problem. Now, to that, I will admit, back then, I went about it the wrong way. Now, at the time, I will admit this, and I will hold myself accountable for this. I did not handle the situation well at all. Because every time we fell out, I would be posting, like just saying subliminal stuff, messy stuff, petty stuff, and I would drag it out because I was upset because we had a falling out. Okay, now that I'm hearing myself tell this story again, I realize how wrong I was in this point of time, because she was clearly going through an abusive relationship where it was like emotionally abusive and verbally abusive, and I did not make it any better. Just because I did not agree with what she was doing and how she was handling things, that did not give me the right to act the way that I did, talk to her that way, or be petty like I was, doing all that stuff. If I saw myself from that time, like all those years ago, I would smack her for treating someone like that. And yes, she did me wrong, and what she did was wrong that first time, but that did not give me the excuse to act like a bitch when she needed me the most. And I thought I was giving her tough love. There's tough love, and then there's, you know, what I did. I thought I was doing tough love or giving her tough love. That's not what I did. So I do regret that. I do regret acting the way that I did. And I'm not trying to say, like, you know, I was a kid back then, I didn't know any better. I should have known better, you know, not to like react that way and be angry like that. But yeah, I'm taking accountability as a grown-ass woman and saying that how I was acting was not okay. So, yes. Because what are you doing? Don't be petty. Don't bring your business like that to social media. Don't do that. And that's what I did. And I was wrong for doing that because I was upset. That's not an excuse. I was so hurt because, like, the first time it was directly, you know, directly involving me because she broke girl code. But all the other times after that, it was simply because of the fact that she was not a good friend. Because whenever I was trying to help her, she just pointed the finger at me. Like, we all can't be as strong as you. This has something to do with you, which it did not, and I understand that. But me as your friend, she did not see me as a true friend. And that hurt me. That's why I was so angry all the times that we fell out, because she was seeing me as her enemy. You just don't want us to be together because you have history. You don't want us to be together because you think he's not good for me. Well, I love him. I'm like, it's not that at all. I'm like, yeah, I may not like that dude and we got a bumpy history too. But I'm like, I'm trying to look out for you. And she took that as me not supporting her or me being fake. And I'm like, I'm the realest friend you got. You may not like what comes out of my mouth, and granted, yes, I could have said it in a way that wasn't going to be harsh, because I did not have a sugar coat filter back then, okay? I didn't have one of those. But I'm saying, like, I'm telling you something real. I'm telling you the truth as your best friend. But since it was coming from me in that way, it was a problem. And that's what hurt me. Because I'm like, I'm not the only one telling you this, but like, you're not going to, telling her to like f off, essentially. You're not going to her telling her that she doesn't know what she's talking about, or that she needs to stay out of it, or that she doesn't need to worry. But when I come to you being real with you, trying to help you and help you get out of this really bad situation, because I don't want that for you, I'm in the wrong. I'm the villain. And now looking back, like, the way that I handled things, I definitely did not help the situation, but my heart was in the right place, but it was poorly executed. I could have handled the situation a little bit better. I really could have. Yeah, but that was pretty much the story. That was our bumpy relationship as teenagers in this world, okay? Drama, and even more drama. Like I said, I haven't really talked to her, like held an actual conversation with her, I think, since like maybe 2 years ago. I hope she is doing well. I really do mean that, because, you know, stuff happens, life goes on, you move on. I wish her no ill will at all. We were kids back then, not knowing what the f we were doing. So hey, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm done. So that concludes our video for today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you have any comments that you want to share, or insights or opinions, drop it down in the comments. Subscribe if you want to. I will see y'all on the next go round. Okay, bye.